Hey guys, in this episode we're going to discuss the film Darkest Minds, the latest young adult book adaptation. We're going to talk about everything from the storyline, the characters, all that and more on episode 64 of the Reel-ists podcast. Hello, listeners. Welcome. I'm Donald.
And I'm Oscar.
And we have our producer, Ruben.
Hello.
And this is the Reel-ists podcast.
I like that. I didn't know we were adding our mix.
I just thought I wanted to make some noise.
Speaking
Speaking of mixes, is that where you're going with?
Yeah. Thanking our DJ.
Oh, yeah. DJ Apnick in the mix.
For our theme.
For our theme song.
Intro, yes.
We appreciate it, man. Keep it coming.
Season two.
Season 2. We need something fresh. We need something new. We're evolving. We need you to evolve with us. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang, we got picked up. I didn't know we got picked up.
Yeah, we got greenlit for 2 more seasons.
Oh, for 2 more.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting 2 more.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to us. If you're a first-time listener, we appreciate you choosing the Reel-ists podcast to listen to.
I feel like I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that. I feel like that was like a tease now. Like people would be like, "Oh, they're gonna do TV show adaptations now."
Hey, you never know.
What adaptations reviews?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen on the Reel-ists podcast. If you're a returning listener, we thank you so much for returning to us and listening to us.
As always. Yes.
As always.
Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback that you guys give us. And if you want to keep giving us feedback, we would gladly appreciate it. You can leave us a comment. Anything you want. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Team Reel-ists, Team REELISTS, no dash. And then we are also on YouTube. We're on iTunes, so you could leave us comments there. And just questions, comments, whatever you want. And if you want to engage, if you want to interact, if you want to conversate.
Right.
We're here to listen. And we're here to respond.
Absolutely, yes. You know, if you just have something you want to share with us, even if it's like, just your own opinion on a movie, we would love to hear it. We will definitely just communicate back with you. We don't mind. Yeah,
we definitely will
have no problem with that whatsoever.
So thank you guys so much once again, and I think we can
get down to it,
jump right into why we're here today. We're here to discuss a little film, a little indie film,
little homemade video recorded on an iPhone. Well, those aren't actually getting nice now, but
yeah, they are. Darkest Minds, which is the first installment in the newest young adult book adaptation series.
There you go. Now you're nailing it.
Now I'm getting it after like the 7th time. So I'm not gonna make up my own synopsis here. I'll just use Google. It's already done for me. When teens mysteriously develop powerful new abilities, they are seen as a threat by the government and sent to detainment camps. 16-year-old Ruby soon escapes from her captors and joins other runaways who are seeking a safe haven. Banded together and on the run, they soon combine their collective powers to fight the adults who tried to take away their future.
Look at us. Just review. This is kid week.
Man,
kid week versus adult.
we're subconsciously missing, yearning for childhood again.
Right.
So Oscar, Darkest Minds, a little bit of Hunger Games, a little bit of Divergent, a little bit of X-Men.
A little bit of it all.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
What did you think of Darkest Minds?
I really enjoyed it. For the sake of the idea.
Before you get too much into it, this is a spoiler alert. We are going to spoil this film for you. So if you don't want us to do that,
an emergency broadcast, we are going to spoil
if you don't want us to ruin it, you know what to do. Let the episode play, go watch the film, come back, download the episode again. And,
there you go.
There you go.
Bam. So yes, this was definitely a fun, entertaining movie to really see through. It's unfortunate that it doesn't come off as original, or it doesn't come off as, a very unique twist or on a classic idea. It's very, very mixture of what you said, like the things of other young adult adaptations, in addition to now that there's superhero movies, so that little trope as well has been mixed in. So it's kind of fun still, but you're going in to just watch this idea of kids having powers and them being, classified as dangerous and trying to be contained. And then, of course, the one that needs to break out because they're different or they're more powerful. But it's really just a nice, entertaining story. I was interested in terms of these characters and where they go. I think that they did a really great job of making you invested in these characters of the four amigos. So that was really nice. That was really interesting. It was different in the sense that I was gonna say Ruby, Ruby, not Rue from Hunger Games. Ruby.
Wrong franchise.
She was important, but I don't feel like she was hogging the light. They started to equally show the importance of the friends. And it was, of course, it was that beginning chapter, so nothing too dramatic happened where, you're concerned for the lives of these characters. But it was a really nice introduction to it. I just feel like it's unfortunate that there's been other movies and other stories similar to it that have come out that probably may have taken the lightning of it, the way that it could have landed had it been like the first one. Mm-hmm. But it still brought some interesting... It brought an interesting story forefront, and you maybe kind of are hoping that maybe this is just different enough than what you have seen already. So I think it did do a great start in executing that. Like, yes, this is similar to these things, but we're going to be going in a different direction possibly. So that's kind of where I'm hopeful for it. I'm curious if it is going to get made even more after one, or if this is just a one and done based off of the reception and box office scores. So
yeah, I'm just looking at some numbers here.
Oh,
it said that
the numbers are in the new segment.
Well, it's I don't know how up to date this is, but it says that their budget was $34 million and they've only grossed like $5 million so far.
Wow.
I once again, that's on IMDb, and I don't know if that's up to date, so I don't know how accurate that is, but it's pretty low.
Are you questioning the?
And with the 18% Rotten Tomato score,
it actually went up.
Did it?
Yeah.
What is it now?
I think it was in like the 30s, I believe. I'm.
Oh, okay. I hope it did. Let me give you my take on it. I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I am.
Oh no, it didn't. It stayed at 18.
Okay. You're giving us false information over here. Our score is
as reliable as IMDb.
I know. I'm not gonna lie here. I do like a good young adult a movie adapted series.
I want to read the books, but not really.
Yeah, I was into Hunger Games. I really did like it. Divergent came out, and I got into that. I was down for the ride for that. Twilight, I was probably the least into. I think that's kind of the one that kind of kicked off everything. But it was, it was Twilight first, and then Hunger Games, and then Divergent.
But Twilight was always different too. It was never like a fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah,
series.
this was. Yeah, it just had like
romance fantasy. Yeah,
exactly. So kind of different angle. That's probably why I was not so into it, I guess. But so when I saw Darkest Minds, and then we have like in terms of like superheroes, we have all the like X-Men and X-Men First Class and kind of dealing with teenagers still and them coming into abilities and stuff.
Absolutely.
So we have all that,
and you have TV shows too now that are starting to go into that territory.
For real. What's our show? Gifted.
Yes, that's one.
Can't wait for that.
Not Clark. Cloak and Dagger is another Marvel one. They have the Runaways. They have a few. Those are quite a few.
We have Riverdale. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, naming all these.
I was like, dang, do they get powers?
But no. So we have all that. So then I see the trailer for Darkest Minds, the very first time, mind you, and I'm like, not into it at all. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm like, I do not want to see that. It looks like a ripoff from everything else we've seen.
Yes.
But then I kept seeing the trailer, and I was like, okay, maybe I could get into it. And I'm not gonna lie. Like, when we left the theater, I was pretty entertained. I really did like it. Yeah, it follows the kind of same
first book in the
the first book in a series, and it's like it's not the end all be all. They're just introducing us to this world that they're in, the people, the characters, the abilities. Basically just telling us what is possible in this world, and definitely leaves you. I guess if you're into it, ready for the second one.
Yes. And I it's kind of tough. It's like, I hope it does get made, but it's just like at the same time, if I really want to see the adventure, I just read the book.
I know, but I'm just too lazy to read the book.
I need a visual. I want to visually see that.
So
I'm attached to these actors playing these characters to want to, I want to see them continue to finish it off. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it works out.
I hope so.
Even if it's like becomes a TV series or a smaller budget.
Would you watch it if it became a TV series? I don't know that I mean, I for curiosity's sake, I would. But...
I mean, it's kind of like you already know the first. It's like you've seen the first season, so to speak. So maybe to some extent, I think I would. I mean, yeah, I guess probably it depends on how it comes out. If it comes out like all at once, maybe I might just like on Netflix. I can see that as a great platform. Mm-hmm. I could see me like maybe watching it because I can see them all. But on a weekly basis, I might wait until the end and just read like the synopsis of like how it concludes or how it goes. But I mean, I think it would just be more of like hoping to see visually the conclusion to it. I know on a TV budget, it probably would be watered down so much where they don't use their powers as much. So that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm kind of like, I mean, I like I said, I hope it does get made into a second film, and hopefully a third one, just so we can conclude the series. But yeah, I was entertained. I liked it. You know, obviously it was. I said I liked it more than the Divergent series because this one, it's kind of like Divergent, but they have powers. Anytime you add like supernatural abilities in there, like that's always fun. And it was cool because like, you know, they were all categorized by a certain color, and they all had different abilities.
How we're going from like having specific names in Divergent to now you're just a color.
I know, right? Like you go from like being in a certain district in Hunger Games to like having a certain name to now having a certain color. Like what's next? Like what's the next thing gonna be?
And be like, what number are you? You're number 5? That's bad. That's a high level number.
So I was really into just thinking about like the casting too, like who they cast for the characters. I thought the performances were pretty well done. The main one, Amanda Stenberg.
Yes, Rue.
Formerly
known as Rue.
Yeah, aka known as Rue, but she's now Ruby in this one.
Didn't we joke that she's always gonna be cast in like a
R name, like the
RU character?
Yeah, the next name she's gonna be like Ruth. So I thought she did really good. And then the guy who played the love interest, Harris Dickinson.
My favorite out of the characters.
Because his name is Liam.
One reason. One.
So I thought that was good. I felt their chemistry. I felt like they connected, and
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the chemistry between the four of them because they really started to become a family, and you did start to see that, and nothing felt forced. I mean, the only thing that felt forced was her joining them. That felt more of story convenience, but
yeah,
once that, you start to really get a natural bond, and you see. And I think this is another reason why I liked Liam is that he was like a leader, but he wasn't like this I know everything, I'm powerful kind of leader. He definitely was still more of like, yeah, I might be the oldest. It's in the same way that I'm, you're my younger siblings, and I'm taking care of you like a brother and sister, making sure you guys are okay.
Yeah.
And then here comes this new person.
He wasn't like running things out of like arrogance or cockiness or because he thought he was the toughest.
Like he had the oldest, and he had. I mean, there was someone that was in the team that was smart. Like that was their power.
Chubbs.
Yeah, that you have to earn that.
Yeah, I know. That's the only like line that bothered me. Don't call him Chubbs. You have to earn that. Because if I was Mandy Moore, I'd have been like, I don't gotta call him nothing.
But yeah, so that was a nice little connection and bond that I think that worked well for the actors to really give that chemistry. And I'm very confident that behind the scenes they probably were like hanging out. That helped build that connection. So
yeah, and then they had Zoo.
Yes,
so she was a part of that too.
Which I
want to leave her out.
No, of course I couldn't. But she was like the youngest, She was like,
I know, and she didn't say anything.
She had her power. She had like scenes, but overall, she was just like that person that was just following along. And then she didn't give her lines, which I don't know if there's a reason to that. Maybe we might see if she was like traumatized or if they experimented on her and that caused her not to be able to talk. They didn't explain that, but that would have been an interesting information to know.
Yeah.
For us to just be like, does she not want to talk because she's afraid or because something happened, or is there like a biological reason?
Yeah. So going to like the plot of this film, we see that all these kids are being collected, and it looks like the higher level ones, the oranges, are just being like killed off because they're too dangerous.
Right. They have the mind reading. Well, not mind reading. I apologize.
Mind controlling.
But it's like mind controlling, and also like
they can
mind. It is mind reading because they can see your past.
They can see, like what you've been through.
Yeah.
I don't know. They can't like read your thoughts, but they can. Like if they touch you, they can see a specific memory you have or something.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
I guess is that considered is that part of the telepathy? Or is that telekinesis? I always get confused between those two.
No, it's not telekinesis.
Telekinesis is moving things, right? Like I can
telepathic is telepathic is like you can read minds, but so I guess part of the telepathy in that, I mean, but not reading thoughts. Do you remember
when I would say telepathetic?
That's from Stepmom.
Was it?
Yeah.
I remember I said that once too. That was hilarious.
You gotta watch Stepmom. Mm-hmm. Remember when he said that, Ruben?
Yeah.
Mom, I'm telepathetic. She's
That's
like,
funny.
It's telepathic. Love that. We gotta have like a movie night and watch that. We gotta ask her to watch that.
Technically, I subconsciously watched it because I recognized a line that I never saw.
Right. So I just wanted to talk about the powers. The powers were pretty cool.
Let's
so you have it's a pyramid. Let's start from the bottom. You have greens. They're intelligent. They're intelligent,
super intelligent,
smart.
Yeah.
They can figure things out. Problem solvers.
Like high IQs can probably do a Rubik's Cube in 0.5 seconds, probably something like that.
Yeah. And then you have your blues after that, right?
Yes.
So those are like your from what we know from Liam, telekinetic, can move things with your mind.
Yes.
And then up from that is yellow.
Yes.
Which is what Zoo was, correct?
Yes.
She could
electricity.
Yeah,
control.
She could alter electricity by touching like a lamp and like.
Well, she like emits electricity. Yeah, I'm sure if she like.
Yeah, she does. That's why she has rubber gloves on all the time.
Yeah.
So that's insane, and that's
a 10.
I was gonna say that's insane. That's intense, and I kind of meshed the two.
It's like that's a 10. That's a 10. What?
And then you have the reds, who
Orange. Reds. I'm sorry.
Reds, who are just like your fire breathers. I guess from what we've seen, we don't know what else they can do.
Fire Nation attacked.
Right, everything was different. They literally did attack too, like for real.
They did. They were
Avatar level. And then you have your oranges, which is what Ruby is. I'm gonna call her Rue too.
Yeah.
I want to call her Rue. It's not Rue. This is not the franchise where she's Rue.
Maybe it is. Maybe she that was like her heaven.
It's like crossover,
like another world.
Right. She was. What if they revealed that? Like that'd be insane. But anyways, then you have your oranges, and from what we know from Ruby and from
the bad guy,
the son of the president,
I'm gonna get his name.
They can, kind of read your memories, see what you've been through.
Clancy.
And what's his name?
Clancy.
And they can also control your mind. Like touch you and be like, you will do this, and then they'll do it.
Yep.
So obviously I'd want to be an orange, but that's the thing. Like if okay, if
you going back and like maybe not.
No, I always say I would either want to be for sure an orange, but I would also, my second choice would be blue, even though they're like the second bottom. Like I don't care about breathing fire. Like yeah, that's dangerous. It's a cool weapon, but like I don't really care for that.
Running water. What are you gonna do?
And then to like have like electrical powers, that's cool too. But I think I would way rather have telekinesis than those two powers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I don't know if they said, I don't know why blue was not a threat. I don't know if they like maybe were able to find a way to like subdue that. Maybe it's like someone can't move something as big. Yeah, no, that definitely, I mean, I agree with that order. Exactly. I would agree with what you said. That would be a nice combination to have, to go orange, blue, and then I probably would go with fire and then IQ and then electricity. I don't know why.
You do electricity last?
Yeah. I feel like
it just doesn't appeal to you, huh?
I mean, it's just, yeah, like, I don't want to be used. I already know it's like, hey, can I borrow some, like...
Hey, our power went out.
Right.
And they'd be like, oh, my God, Oscar, okay, so I found a
My
great
car
way
died.
to save on rent or to save on bills.
Right.
We don't pay the bill, and then you just power us up.
Or, like, if I get mad and I, like, burn, like, the light bulbs, great. Now we got, like, expenses.
Right, then you gotta buy some. So.
And I feel like the fire is a step up only because... Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of made you look like cool. Like, you can use it, if you use it well... You'd be pretty
like
cool.
A firebender.
Yeah. Or I've always, like, as I point out to you, like, every time I pretend, like, let's see if today is the day I get powers, and I always pretend I get a fire power. Like, I always check my hands to see if that fire comes out. But, like, just that.
You're evil.
My evil.
You'd be evil if you had powers.
But then, and then the IQ would be nice. I mean, that'd be nice. I would want that over electricity at that point.
Yeah.
It's like if I had to.
And it's not like you just, I mean, it is like a power. Like, you act, like, you could see, like, when Chubbs was figuring something out, like, his eyes lit green, and they were, like, like...
That was a nice... I don't know if that was in the book, but that was a nice visual.
When their eyes would
when the eyes
eliminate the color
blinked.
that they are. Yeah, that was cool. That was a really cool thing. I really... Dang, what was my next thought going to be?
Well, if I can say...
No. Let me remember. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was going to say... The one thing that I had a trouble with was this whole the kids are bad kind of aspect. And I know that's very similar to X-Men, where if you're a mutant, you're considered like a threat. And I get that, these.
It's definitely not the first time that kind of idea has been depicted.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're afraid of them because they're powerful, therefore they're evil, therefore we have to exterminate them or control them or contain them. But to me,
the thing that I had a problem with was just this whole idea of, okay, so we're going to isolate every kid who will be our future. And it's like you're making it worse by not showing them the support and love. Yeah, you're going to have a bad kid, like the kid that's going to be using his power as a bully or whatever, of course. That's going to be expected. But it was just like more of like an ugly reaction to like, I can see where the parents are concerned, but it felt like it was more jealousy. Like, oh, we didn't get any of these powers. And I can see like half the kids died, as they said, like not everyone made it through to have these powers. Right. Shouldn't there be more of like, we should appreciate these kids because they still survived? Like, I would be mad that if my kid had, had powers and then I have to lose him. And it's like kind of just like I didn't agree with that idea of that's going to be the natural reaction everyone's going to have of, yeah, it's for the best to send our kids away. I know they might have been scared, but
we're not gonna the world's not gonna come together collectively and be like, oh yeah, let's put our kids in.
I feel like there's always gonna be that small group of like, no, my kid's staying here. Like I don't care.
Right, that wouldn't happen. And two, I mean,
realistically,
even,
fail.
Yeah, and another thing, when they were detained in those camps, and you can see them all, like you see all the yellows huddled together, all the blues huddled together.
Yes.
Like, what was to stop all the blues from being like, okay, on my count, we're gonna use all of our telekinetic powers.
We saw Liam
break this thing down, like bring this thing to the ground. Everybody use their powers at the same time. Like, all the electric kids, like we're gonna electrocute all the military people that are holding us here. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that.
Right, exactly.
I guess you can argue like, oh, well, because like they were afraid, and it's like, you discipline one and
was there an
make
age
them all
limit?
stand in line.
Did they say like, oh, once you become 18, we kill you regardless? Like,
right, like what happens when so do you age out? Is it like foster care? Like you age out of the system at 18, or do you lose
your powers?
Get transferred to an adult facility? Like,
you should read the
what
book.
happens? I know. You guys have a lot of questions, and guess what? All those would be answered if you read the book.
We know. Don't leave that comment. We get it.
Listen, we don't have time to read a 3-book series right now. Okay, we got a lot.
If anyone would love to give us
if one of our listeners wants to send us the books, we totally will read them. I swear to you.
Yeah,
we will. I promise you, we will. Only if you want to, though, or if you just have an extra
send us
copy
an email
laying
if you want
around.
to know more, where you can send it to us, or digital if you want to send it. We accept iTunes, Amazon.
That'd be cool if we got that'd be cool.
But I mean, it's one of those where we'd have to do a follow up.
Yeah, we would.
Now that I think about it, if someone did send us the books,
we could if it happened.
But no, it's one of those situations where it was. I get what they were trying to go for, but yeah, as you said, it was just like, what would have stopped them if they all decided to use their powers for good, or create this revolution? The only thing that will make sense, that I will say makes sense to me, was the fires, the reds and the orange being killed, because they were the easiest to take charge if they wanted to.
Yeah, that
made sense. Although killing kids is a whole thing that I wouldn't agree with at all, but I understood that kind of let's not let the biggest threat actually win, or whatever, so to speak. But,
yeah,
but the whole public image of oh, these kids are being treated. That's probably gonna be in the next book. They get exposed,
right? And I was gonna say and now I'm gonna be insecure, feeling insecure about everything I say, because now I'm gonna be it might be in the book, whatever questions or concerns I have. But I was can't they just figure out how to mutate the gene to turn or a procedure they could all
That's
do
in book number 3.
A procedure they could make the kids go under to remove their power, or to turn it off, or lay it dormant, or something like that. But,
and again, I don't know if that's the movie omitting to provide those answers, or if it is something that you find out later, which makes sense. I mean, I would.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on the assumption that they're omitting that so they can have something else to tell you in the second and third ones. Yeah. They can't give it all away, because then it's what's the point of watching the second and third one?
Given the way the box office came out, maybe
they should have. I know, right? That's always the gamble, right? It's always the risk.
Yeah, that's true.
You have no idea if the first one's gonna take off or flop, and it looks like right now it's kind of flopping
But we enjoyed it. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, it's an entertaining film. Yes, you're not getting anything new. You're not getting anything, unseen ever before or anything like that.
Nothing groundbreaking or like...
Right. But there's a reason why there's many...
This has never been done in cinematic history. It's never been done. Like, no, it's been done
But there's a reason why, young adult science fiction fantasies there are plenty of them, because they take that concept, but they run with their own interpretations of it. I know, like, there's a few that were more about, like, all the parents died and it was just kids surviving on this place, which probably would be the next one that gets adapted. But
Maze Runner was another one.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, completely forgot about that one. But there's a lot of, like, those.
That was a great one too. I like that one.
That it had that kind of, like, it's the same element, like these kids that have to do this unique thing, or they get unique powers, or have this specific circumstance, but it's always just connecting with the characters. That's always what it's going to be about.
And I think the reason those things do take off and they are so popular is because, like, it's relatable, because in all of those series, like, the protagonist or the hero, they're always just like an ordinary kind of person. I mean, they may with the exception of, like, maybe the capabilities they embody or something, like,
right.
Ruby having, like, being an orange, but they're, at the end of the day, like, they're all just like you and me, like an average,
and they're friends, and there's, like,
and they have friends, and they have they're like a normal teenager. And so I think as a, like, even when we were watching them, and we were probably not, like, really teenagers, maybe, like, I don't know how old we were when, like, Hunger Games came out, probably like 20 or 2012. So 6 years ago?
Yeah.
So we were like 21.
Yeah.
It's our 20. You were 19 maybe.
Depending on the month.
But I mean, but even watching that, it's like, Katniss Everdeen, like, she was just a normal girl, like, she
didn't like,
she had, was trying to save her sister, and that was her whole motivation. So it's like average people, but doing these extraordinary things, because of love or because of whatever. And right. It's like, it makes you feel like, like, that could be me too. Like, I could do that,
yes.
Like, what's,
I mean, here we are now.
Even as an adult, I still think that.
We're still thinking of, like, I think I would be, or I can be this blue, or I can see myself, like, Chubbs or Ruby. Like, we still have those, like when I was younger, I probably would have been more like this character. We still have that connection, and I feel like that's what you're gonna get from these, young adult adaptations is not the plot that's being, like, the, never been done before,
like,
but what you're getting is this group of teenagers that have these characteristics that might relate, to the teenagers now. Maybe they start to adapt as, more technology based. Like, you could see those kind of becoming a thing later on in young adult novels. Check out my note. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Jesus.
Start promoting like
all the what? You got a lot of side things going on, Oscar. You got a lot of
first it was my in-depth analysis of Christopher Robin. Now it's my young adult novel. But no, it's just that kind of whole thing of, like, it's these characters I think you start to connect with more so than the plot. So if they do a well job of making you care about these characters, then it works. The problem is, given that there's so much now, people feel like they can have enough. At least general audience. I can definitely see general audience taking a step back and saying, you know what, I've had enough teen adventures, or, I've seen enough recently. Maybe if they hold off and 10 years later they decide
that's true.
to adapt.
I mean, it's true. I mean, that's why I didn't want to see it. Like, luckily, we have AMC Stubs where we can just, like, we can see it as many, 3 movies a week. So we're like, hey, that third one, let's check out Darkest Minds. Why not? It's already,
right,
already
exactly.
paid for it. But generally, I mean, if I had to buy a ticket, I probably wouldn't have bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, that, the trailer didn't draw me in, like, oh my God, I have to see that. Because we've already seen Hunger Games. We've already seen Divergent. Right. We've already seen Maze Runner and Twilight and all those young adult
if you look at the
series.
Numbers, you start to see that the numbers for each young adult adaptation,
they go down and down every time.
Yeah.
With each franchise.
Like, each new franchise that comes out.
I believe it.
And that's a very unfortunate, because it's great movie experiences to escape out of your world and kind of just jump into another one with these teen characters that, if it does well, you probably would see them grow. I mean, the best example is Harry Potter, that you got to see from, when he was year 1 to in the book year 7. So you got to see this growth.
Yeah.
So imagine if that, I mean, like, Divergent unfortunately won't get to finish its story. The Maze Runner barely finished.
Divergent did finish, right?
No, Allegiant was going to just be 2 parts. So you got the first part of Allegiant.
So they just wrapped it up. Well,
really? No, they were going to do, originally it was going to do a part 2. and because of the box office results, they canceled it. And then they were going to do a TV movie as like a conclusion.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah,
and
you're
then,
right.
Yes, and then Shailene Woodley was like, "Nope,
not doing it.
I ain't doing no TV.
I don't blame her.
I did The Secret Life for American Teenager.
I paid my dues on television. You ain't putting me back. Right. I don't blame her. I'd have been thinking the same thing.
So that's yeah. So I didn't finish that one. The Maze Runner was able to get its third one.
Like 5 years later.
Well, there was a.
Well, I know there was.
But the production was the reason why I got delayed. But that one almost didn't get its green light for the final one. So it's kind of just like that reaction where it's. I unfortunately I could see no sequel being made for this movie.
Yeah.
Because of the box office results, so it's very unfortunate about that. But it's.
I think probably like general audiences are just they've had their fill of
they had their
fantasy.
Fill, and that's not to say this movie had its bad reviews from the critics, but I feel like the general audience, if they were to go see this, free ticket, whatever way they got to see this, or even if they see it at home, they probably be like, I want to see more. I feel like generally we would want to see more.
Yeah.
Maybe not priority, stop making Marvel movies and make this one, but
we don't care about Infinity War Part 2. We just want the next Darkest
Maybe
Minds
not on that level. Maybe it probably a little bit low on that list, but I'm sure this is one that people would want to see continue. I think so. Let us know, everyone that's listening, if you would. This would be a great, interesting thing to ask. Our listeners.
Okay, we'll save it for the end. Save it for the end.
Fine, you can remember.
You can ask it. Remember it. Take a mental note of it.
Take a mental.
And you can ask it at the end.
Let me snapshot this in my head. Okay.
Do you have a favorite part from this film? Favorite scene?
The credit.
When we left the theater.
No. Yes, I did. I loved the what do you call it? The invasion scene towards the final act when the president's son decided to reveal he's actually bad, and he's getting all the adults army to capture these kids, and they have the battles, and Ruby tries to fight him, doesn't quite yet have the power to match him. Chubby gets hurt. Chubs.
Chubby.
Chubs.
Chunky. Chunky butt.
Gave him a new nickname. He's not even, Chubs gets hurt. Now I'm naming different.
Did you watch the movie?
Liam gets injured. Nothing happened to Zoo, so she was just like, "What?" Right? But the battle sequence was really nice, and I liked the little small moments as they bonded, at the mall and those things. Those were really nice. I liked those.
Yeah, they were
those moments. Yeah, I felt the romance was early for Liam and Ruby, but it was interesting, and I did want to see continue. I would have loved to see that keep going, and if they make more, just to see if whether they're gonna always be eye for eye, or if there's gonna be a point where they they don't see eye anymore. It was heartbreaking of what she did.
Yeah.
A very
erasing the memory.
Yeah.
Herself from Liam's memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge sacrifice to.
And that's another thing oranges can do. Can erase themselves from any memory, so you can do anything and then erase yourself from it. And the power,
man, that power, you can just
that you could
do anything.
I might turn evil if I had that power. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh, you go give me all your money. You never saw this,
right? Exactly.
This is a hold up. Y'all never saw
this. I'm erased from the memory.
That's hilarious.
Well,
go erase an artist's memory of writing songs and
then write their songs. I totally would. I would erase Damien Chazelle's memory of writing La La Land or something, and then try to write it.
I mean, it would be produced, but it would be one of those. Yeah, something. I wrote that. No, I wrote that.
No, if anything, I would erase. Go to the people who wrote the songs, the lyricists, wrote the words, erase them. And then I'd be like, hey, I'm a freelance lyricist. I want to write for movies.
I wrote those songs.
And then try to pitch all those songs as my own.
Or and just be like, hey, become their friends. Be like, yeah, that's why I gave you those lyrics. You said you needed help.
Right. And then I'll do the greatest showman.
Oh man.
Right after.
Yeah, you'd be evil.
Yeah. I would.
I think I would go and erase people's minds of comic book characters, so then I can be like, yeah, I wrote that character. I wrote the Dark Knight. I was the one that came up with it.
I wrote The Dark Knight.
One of many that I would go Sarah would write.
Okay, so you'd be a little evil too.
I mean, you influenced me.
Okay, peer pressure. I don't know if I had like one favorite scene. I really liked. There were a lot of moments that I really enjoyed. I really liked the when we found out that she erased herself from her parents' memories, because we didn't know what happened. We were in the dark for a while.
The mom just woke up like,
who are you?
Why are you
in my house? Like, where are your parents? And that was heartbreaking to see when she was like, Mommy, why are you doing this? Like, I'm sorry. Like, she didn't know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being like a little 6-year-old little child and
your mom just like not caring. Yeah.
Like, well, who are you? And almost like looking like they're scared of you because they have no idea what you're doing in their house. But when we finally realized what she did, that was very satisfying to finally see it.
I wonder if she can. And this is probably another question that you can only find an answer in the book. But I wonder if she can put back the memories.
I would bet like $1 million she can. Because she erased herself from Liam's memory. They're gonna end up together in the end. I think.
Oh yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
That might have been the end for Liam.
Or if anything, they'll come back together. She'll put herself back in his memory, and then he'll die. Like after they've gotten back together, he'll like sacrifice himself for her or something like that. I would bet money that that oranges can put themselves back in the minds, back in the memories. So we'll see though. We will see. Maybe. If a fan sends us a book, we'll read about it. Or if they make another film, we'll see it on screen.
That's funny.
But I really liked that. And I really liked, even this was like a really, like not a, super important scene in the film or anything. But when they were kind of having like that little party thing, when they found like that safe haven, quote unquote,
yes,
and they were dancing, and Liam was like, "Let's dance," and then he used his power to like lift her up and on her feet, and that was like that was in the trailer too, that part.
Yes.
But I thought that just looked really, like kind of magical and cool, and they were really just filling each other.
It would have been funny if she was like, "Stop! No!"
Right, start freaking out. Leave me alone! Like starts like going crazy. He's all trying to be like romantic and slick, and she's like just like not having it. I could see that, but I did like that moment too. So, but there are a lot of good moments. I really did like this film. So,
yes.
With that said, Oscar, what would you rate this film?
That's tough. Again, as a movie, it's one of those where you got to be real, you got to be honest with it. So I would give it a 3, and that's just being a little bit on the gentle side.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that it didn't execute well enough. The characters was really great, but the story itself, I felt like it tried to immediately take you to like their current age, which was problematic because it went from like, oh, we're gonna take you now to like this is the life for kids. They didn't really kind of show any parental like concerns or anything. I get the president was trying to reassure everyone that it was like, oh, this is us making sure that they're being treated, but I just feel like and of course I know like the other books probably explore like there's gonna be a group of parents that don't believe in this. I think there was. I don't know if that was the
protesters
that Mandy Moore was.
Oh, the League.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what they were. If they were protesting that, but
League of Shadows.
It's easy, we copy. But yeah, so there was a lot of things like that I felt was not too well. I feel like the bad guy, just put in the third act, the son being evil, like a lot of things that just
cliche.
Yeah, that didn't. I mean, I know this is again adapting a book, but I feel like you should have to make a way to still make it flow nicely, and I felt like this was not the best way you probably could have put it together. I probably have to read the book to kind of say like how you should have been done, but I feel like it could have been better because it obviously it was something that was not new, but yet they still went the same route that you expect, which is not a challenge. I feel like they should have taken that challenge of like, well, how can we tell this story that's different, or how that kind of manner. But I get it's an adaptation, so you don't want to stray too far. But
right,
yeah. So for its pros and cons, a 3, right in that middle.
Okay, I'm right there with you, man. I give it a 3 out of 5. If I could give it a 3.25, I would. If we were going by like quarters, but a 3.5 is it's too generous. So I'd rather give it a lower score than be too generous. A lot of the same reasons you said, and I know I personally, if we were going just off like, oh, if I personally liked the film, it would get a higher score. But, I'm looking at this. It is an adaptation, another young adult series. It's not really giving us anything super, super fresh or new as opposed to other series that we've seen before. The acting I did like, but I feel like a couple of I felt like some of the, for instance, Chubbs, I felt like Chubbs was a good character. I feel like the actor did well, but I feel like his character, his lines that he had, they were kind of like cliched. Like, they were comebacks you would hear only in a movie. Like, nobody talks like that. It's like that in the movie world, people talk like that.
Right, the dialogue.
So a lot of his like jokes or his quick-witted comebacks were like, written for script. So I didn't connect with me there. And the president's son acting like he was the good guy and he created this safe haven only to be the bad guy and wanting to, this was kind of like a lure, that was like, saw that coming. And a lot of I feel like there would, in this kind of dystopian society, I feel like there would be more internal conflicts with people about the whole situation. I feel like with this film, you had either people that were really, really for it, really for getting rid of these kids and let's make this world safer, or you had people that were just super against it, but you didn't have anybody who was like struggling, like, oh my god, I know this is wrong, but I can't support this, but I know it's what we're
it felt like
it was either black, it was so black and white, there was no like real gray area.
Like in the league or whatever.
And we still don't really know about the league. Once again, I know we have to read the book or wait for the next film, but
it didn't establish anything. Like what were they going to do? I know that they were treating Chubbs for his injuries, but like it just, I wasn't sure, and I don't know if this again intentional, maybe this is intentional, if they were good or bad.
Like they're supposed to be the ones to
but
start
what was
a revolution.
Their goal? Yeah, like
start a revolution, to use the children, I guess, as their soldiers to fight against.
I feel like that's not well executed in that sense.
It was. It could have been better.
I mean, it felt like it was a waste for Mandy Moore's character to just be like a quick presence of like this organization, but not delve any further. I feel like
it was very like really hush hush. It was very like we still don't know.
Why didn't it? Why was Liam knowing too much a bad thing? Like what? Yeah, those kinds of things. Which I know it's an adaptation. I know that read the book. I get it, but it's just one of those where, as a movie, the movie is intended for you to experience the book in a different way.
Right.
It's not a way for you to go buy the book or for you to go buy the series. If you want to, absolutely great. You'll get that full detailed from the author, but this is supposed to be a way for the story to come to life in a different format. And I feel like I don't know if, again, it would be interesting to see the choices were intentional or not, but it didn't, you had to still treat this as a movie that informs the audience of these important points. And I can see why the critics weren't maybe so nice on this movie, because it kind of was like, we're not giving you all the information, you said, but we'll give you some. You can tune in later. But it's like, you only get one chance. What if this is the only movie you get? Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, I guess they kind of just had to like weigh their options there and
they
hope for the best.
Yeah.
And they went for it. So we'll see how it pans out moving forward.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not another I Am Number 4 situation. That was another like adaptation of a young adult book that didn't get past the first one. It didn't make money.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see. But we definitely want to know what your thoughts are on the film. Oscar, you had a question for our listeners, right?
I did.
Okay, do you remember what the question was?
I do.
Okay, hit it.
So what I was trying to say earlier, when it was perfectly in the flow.
Oh my God. Before I was so rudely interrupted.
Let me go on a 10-minute rant here about how I was mistreated.
Wow, okay.
Just kidding. No, so like what I was interested was more of kind of asking our audience, our listeners, why they didn't see this movie. Kind of like, what was it, because it was, I've seen a lot of this already, or I've had my my plate's full for that, I'm okay? Was it the trailers? What would have been something that made you go see this movie? Like, what would it have been? Like a big scene that looks cool? Would it have been the actors being portrayed, like if it was like A-list actors, like if it was I don't want to say Jennifer Lawrence, but like that kind of star caliber level.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling.
Oh my God. Ben Affleck and Harry Cavill. They're not even kids.
I know, they're all adults.
But you have some kid like A-list actors. You have Millie Bobby Brown, like those
Who's
kind.
that? Stranger Things girl?
Yeah, that's a nice word.
Eddie from It.
Yeah, exactly. There was
He's blowing up.
I wonder if that would have been a better choice. Supposedly, the actress Amandla, right?
Amandla Stenberg or
She
whatever.
she did have a big kind of fan base from her like Rue days, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But that didn't pan out. Not enough of her fans, I guess, or maybe there was just a marketing tool.
And maybe in her next movie is coming out next month, or this month, is it? Or when does it come out? The Hate U Give. I think it's this month, right? August.
I can see it this much.
Yeah. So it's like maybe it was who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, that was just my question of why didn't you see this if you haven't? Because it didn't do well in box office, so let's not try to pretend that everyone saw this movie.
Let's be honest.
This isn't the Avengers Infinity War that everyone saw it, opening weekend. So if there's any plans to see it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely let us know. Why didn't you see it? What would have made you want to see it? What would have drew you? What would have put your seat in the theater? I also want to know, we did talk a good amount about different franchises here within this whole realm of young adult series. So I want to know, out of all the ones we listed, what's your favorite one?
Ooh, good one.
So just stop us a comment. Stop. I can't get words out. They're like coming half out, like not fully formed.
Like not complete sentences.
Like I'm leaving off a certain letter.
Yeah.
Or something. Anyways, leave us a comment. Let us know. Answer Oscar's question. Why didn't you see it? like he's like a parent. Why didn't you see it? What would have made you see it?
I'm not like in the sense of like go see it. I'm not telling you to go see it. I just want to know what that initial reaction is, because it's the numbers show. Now people want to go see it. So what was it? Was it no? Yeah, I already said that.
Yeah, we get it. We got it. I think they got the point. Remember, we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Team Reel-ists. We're also on YouTube and
Spotify,
SoundCloud. I was just gonna say YouTube and iTunes for you to leave us a comment.
Got it.
But we are also on SoundCloud, Spotify. What's the other S one? Stitcher.
Yeah.
Google Play and iTunes and YouTube.
Yeah, iTunes, right.
So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We hope to hear from you soon. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.